Hello guys, and welcome to part 2, solving quadratic equations. So before we start, let's write down the generic form that we are going to work with, and that is the most important part. Y is ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the quadratic formula, and for Fabio, of course, it's the fx. Now, this is something you always should remember. A is in front of the x squared, the b is in front of the x, the number, and the c is always the number that has no x or x squared next to it. So that's how you can remember it. Don't remember that c is the last number because that's not always true, but we always use this order. This will help us out each time. So in class, we discussed already A, B, and C, the variations. What if the right hand is not 0? Well, you make it 0. What if the A is not 1? You divide or multiply each term with that number that you need. And then we did C. What do I do if I have no C? So no number. You get this product sum notation, x plus 0, because there is no product. So we need the C to become 0, and that's why we need this 1 to become 0. If you switch it up, that doesn't matter. So let's look at combinations of A, B, C, and then we're going to continue to the last two parts, okay? We're going to combine A, B, and C. So let's just grab a few things. Let's start with, I'm going to start writing over here. 4x squared is 60 minus 8x. This is the one we did in class. As you can see here, we have that what if the right hand is not 0? We have situation A, but we also have that the A is not 1, it's 4, and that's not what we want. So we have two situations in one. So the first thing you do, bring everything to the left hand. If you want to divide by 4 right now, that's also fine. The order doesn't matter. So let's bring everything to the left hand. You can use balance method, but please just remember, if you bring it over, positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive. I'm going to write it in the correct order already. So we get 4x squared plus 8x minus 60 equals 0, because on the right hand we get 0. So we got already A done. Let's go to B. You see that this is 4 and we really need it to become 1. So we divide by 4 and we divide each term by 4. That's mandatory. And also for the right hand, let's say if there was another number there, you still would divide that number by 4. So then we get x squared, we get 2x, and we get 60 divided by 4 minus 15, and then equals 0. Now it's important that you write with me and don't just listen to what I'm doing here. It's very important to write down and also follow the steps and maybe even work ahead before I'm writing it. Now, and then we can solve using product sum method. And once again, this is discussed in part 1. So I'm going to write here. If you still don't understand this product sum method, please go to part 1. You look for numbers that in such a way, when you multiply, you get negative 15, but when you add, you get 2. And those numbers that we found were x plus 5 and x minus 3 equals 0. Then we do the separation. X plus 5 is 0, or x minus 3 is 0. And then over here, it's balance method actually. You know that x is negative 5 and x is 3. So this part over here is balance method, this part over here. That's basically what we do, yeah? So this is a variation of A and indeed B combined. Now let's look at other variations. I want to go to what do I do if I have no C? Then you get this form. We have to dig into this part. So let me grab an example. This one is from the HAVO book. And it doesn't matter, Fabio can also, of course, participate here. So let's look at that. We did one in class. I want another one. Okay, let's just take this one. So we got x squared minus 2x is 0. As you can see, there is no C. So the form already will be, for the product sum, x plus 0. Now you only got to think, how would I get, negative 2? You must have negative 2 over there, because minus 2 plus 0 is indeed minus 2. There's another way to approach it. I'll write it here to approach it. There's another way, and it's called take out the common factor. Well, as you can see, both of them has x. So we can take the x out in the front, and then inside the brackets will stay the x minus 2. If you would expand brackets here, you would get x squared minus 2x. So you have two methods. You got method 1. Yeah, this is the one your classmate did in class today. Very good. But you also have method 2 by taking out the most common factor, and then the x is already in front of the first pair of bracket. This, indeed, you can go from this to this because x plus 0 is indeed x. So you get x minus 2 times x, which is actually this. Now, you don't have to do this. This is not important, but you can do the separation here immediately. X plus 0 is 0. And once again, you get, I don't know why I'm putting brackets here. You can remove that. You get x is 2 or x is 0. In this case, you get the same thing. You do the separation. X is 0 or x minus 2 is 0. And you only continue here. X is positive 2. So it's the same. In here, we have used variation C. Because what do I do if I have no C? Yeah, so we've discussed A, B, and C. If you want to practice this more, really make the exercises that I gave for homework. There are definitely variations in there. Now, I do want to look at a variation of C. I'm going to turn the page. So why it's important to notice them, you have, for example, x plus 3 is 0. And over here you get x, and x plus 4 equals 4. Now in this case, it is already factorized for you. So we got to go back here. What do I do when it's factorized? That means it's already placed within brackets. And look how they use this. You won't see this. You will often see this written notation. What do you do if it factorized and it's equal to 0? And what do I do if it's factorized but not equal to 0? So let's have a look. It's negative 4, by the way. Okay, so we have here option C and D combined. And over here we have option C and E combined. The right hand is 0 here. The right hand here is not 0. So let's first start with the right hand is 0. Well, then it's safe to immediately do the separation. It is safe. You can immediately separate them, and you can say x is 0 or x plus 3 is 0. And then, of course, you continue with the balance method. You know that x is negative 3. Here, it's very easy. When you see this on a test, you should be happy. Like, yay, I just need to separate them. It's already factorized for you. So here I can say already factorized, and it equals 0. And that's what you want. Yeah, this is very important. It equals 0. Here you cannot do the separation because it equals minus 4. So you first have to make sure that the right hand is 0. So you can say, okay, I'm bringing it to the left hand already. You can do that before expanding the brackets. You get minus 4 is 0. You expand the brackets. You get x squared. You get plus 4x minus 4 is 0. Indeed, when I bring the minus 4 over, it becomes plus 4. My bad, guys. It becomes plus 4. For the people that paid attention, that's nice. So indeed, the right multiplication is 2 times 2. So you get, because if you add it, you also get 4. So you get x plus 2, x plus 2. And here you indeed can separate. Then you get x plus 2 is 0 or x plus 2 is 0. But yeah, you get actually the same. So you can just say x is negative 2 because both of them are x plus 2 is 0. So this only has one solution. So for the people that are already working with parabolas, until now we have all had 2 interceptions. That's why we have two x's. But you can make a sketch of this. It means that this particular parabola, it's a smiley by the way, has only, I'm going to make a sketch of it, one intersection point, or you can say it's tangent, it's touching it. Yeah, so that's a bit for the situation. You don't need to know yet too much context. We're going to look at it in another video, but then you know why it only has one solution. Now, these were all the variations. There are more for HAFO. So HAFO, you can stop the video. And for FERIO, we're going to dig into a bit more difficult quadratic equations. So I want you to stay tuned and write with me. There is one indeed very difficult one. And I want to do that one. It's this one. Now, you can already see here that it's written as a special binomial. So we can write this as a half x minus 3 times a half x minus 3. And the right hand is 1.5 minus 1/4 x. Now, this has the variation. The right hand is not 0. So we bring first everything to the left hand. So let's do that, bringing everything to the left hand. Now, there are multiple ways to solve this by, and then the right hand 0, by multiplying this as a term. But for the sake of this exercise, I will expand the brackets and then do the multiplication. Yeah, but you can do it beforehand. So let's expand brackets. Really take your time here. You can pause the video and do this yourself. It's important that you can expand brackets with fractions properly. Over here we get 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2x plus 9. This stays the same. It's 0. Then we can put the like terms together. I'm doing it really slow. I don't want to rush. I don't want to make mistakes like I did earlier on. And then we get this. Now, we got 4 here. 2. We got 1.5. We can already subtract it, but I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to do that later. And we got 1/4 x over here. So let's definitely multiply times 4. And why? Very good, because the a has to become 1. So let's do that. So we get x squared. This part also times 4. We get minus 6 times 4, 24 over 2x. 9 times 4 is plus 36. 1.5 times 4, yes, even I have to, just in case, grab the calculator. That is minus 6. And 1/4 times 4 is positive x, so plus 1x. And also this times 4 makes 0. Now this will become, I'm going to write it here, 24 divided by 2 will become minus 12. I'm going to write it like this. Let's put the like terms together. So we get minus 12, x squared stays. We get minus 12x plus x is minus 11x. And we get 36 minus 6 is minus 30 is 0. And even I got to think here, what should those two numbers be? So we think of a multiplication to get 30. So we get 10 times 3. That's great, but we can never get 11. So it's something with 6 and 5, because then we get 30, but it has to become minus 30. It has to become plus 30. Oh my days. Those are the mistakes I'm talking about. Plus 30. But I need negative 11. So it's minus 5 times minus 6, because then I get positive 30. But if I add it, I get negative 11. So it's minus 5 minus 6. Conclusion, you can skip the separation part. You can immediately write x is 5 or x is 6. If you make mistakes here, you can do them intermediate. Yeah, so this is one of the exercises that's a good test exercise. It's large. It has everything in it. Now, while you're at it, let's look at the last variation. That's x plus p squared equals c. This is another form, and this is very handy to work with, because let's look at one example. Let's say if you have x plus 7 squared is 25. Now, you would bring the 25 to the left hand, expand the brackets, and then solve it, but that takes too much time. You can do that. I can even write it here for you. X plus 7 times x plus 7, and then minus the 25 is 0, etc. And you would get indeed your solutions. You would be able to solve it, but don't do that. It takes too long. So that's what the second theory is about. It's about the C, and the C means that number on the right hand when it's this form. Yeah, you cannot have a number here and also not in the front. It means then that if your right hand, your C, is more than 0, you will get 2 solutions. That means 2 x's. If your C is exactly 0, you will get 1 solution. Only 1 x will come out of it. And if it's below 0, you get no solutions. And you're going to see why. Okay, so keep in mind that if I would ask you x squared is 36, right? You would say, oh, x is 6 because 6 squared makes 36. And you would say x could also be negative 6 because negative 6 times negative 6 makes positive 36. Yeah, so this is something you use. And what you actually do is you take the square root of the left hand and you take the square root of the right hand. So 36, the square root of it is 6. That's actually what you do. So over here, we can do the same thing. So what we have here is if I would take the square root of the left hand, square root of the right hand, you indeed get 2 solutions. You get x plus 7 is the square root of 25, which is 5. Or you will get x plus 7, and the square root then in this case, because you're solving, is negative 5. And then you would get, hey, with the balance method, minus 7, you then get x is minus 2, or x is minus 5 minus 7 minus 12. Boom, you can solve this super quick without expanding brackets and bringing this number to the right hand. So that's it for now, because else it's going to be too long. Good luck with practicing and making the exercises.